I just didn't want to be 4 anymore. I didn't pick 4. Felt to me this is Derek's number. He wore it for that long, and he's a franchise leader and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It felt disrespectful.
What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to this channel and you would like to support the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Also, hit that bell so you're notified every time I drop brand new content. And please like this video so we can get at least to 200 likes. Whoa, Raider Nation. Aidan O'Connell recently went on the Rush podcast hosted by Maxx Crosby, and they said a lot of interesting things. And one of the things that he said was, he said that he was given the number 4 by Josh McDaniels and that coaching staff to replace Derek Carr. Not necessarily did he say that he was given that number outright to replace Derek Carr, but nevertheless, he did say that he changed to 12 because, he wanted to give that number back to Derek. It was very wrong of them to give that number to Aidan O'Connell due to the fact that Derek Carr was our franchise leader in plenty of stats. He's got the most yards passing, he's got the most touchdowns thrown, but one thing he doesn't have the most wins as a Raiders quarterback. And that's something that I wanted to talk about in this video. Time and time again, Josh McDaniels has shown why he was one of the worst coaches, if not the worst coach ever to be in the NFL. For him to bench Derek Carr the last 2 games of the season, he was our franchise leader. You could say whatever you want about Derek Carr, about how he wasn't the best quarterback in the league. He wasn't a top 10 quarterback, but nevertheless, he did have plenty of weapons on the offensive side of the ball to work with. He never had a top 10 defense. He didn't have the type of defense that Aidan O'Connell had to work with last year. But nevertheless, this is not a Derek Carr bash video. I'm actually going to give him a lot of praise in this video. Derek Carr took us out of one of the darkest times in Raider Nation. If you guys don't remember, we had plenty of quarterbacks who started before him. And if you guys remember, he started off 0-10 that rookie year, and it was not looking good from the get-go. But nevertheless, he did give us one of our best seasons. 2016, that was a Cinderella season. We started off 12-3, 12-2 to be exact. We lost those last 2 games of the season, but he went ahead and he broke his leg against the Colts, and he was never the same quarterback. But like I said, he was the franchise leader in touchdowns, in passing yards, in completion percentage, and for us to bench him the last 2 games of the season, that was just downright dirty. Josh McDaniels, he didn't draft him, he didn't select him, so I can see why, him and Dave Ziegler weren't tied to Derek Carr, but nevertheless, he was there since the beginning. Mark Davis did give him the okay to go ahead and release him. If they did him dirty from the get-go, Josh McDaniels and Derek Carr, they were just never in sync. You could see plenty of times on the sideline how Derek Carr and Josh McDaniels would get into it and they would yell at each other. And Derek Carr was a stand-up guy. He was respected by all of his peers, even John Gruden, and we know how tough of a coach John Gruden could be. And for Derek Carr never to go at it with John Gruden like that speaks volumes that he did go at it with Josh McDaniels. And it was not right. We released him last offseason. We didn't get anything in return. It was just downright silly when years prior, there was talks about the Raiders could get as good as a first round pick. But nevertheless, we released him. We didn't get anything for him. And for us to draft a quarterback, not even a first round pick at that, but we drafted Aidan O'Connell in the 4th round, and presumably he wasn't brought in to be the future. He is still not the future, I believe. But for us to give him the number 4, that was really a slap in the face to Derek Carr, even to Aidan O'Connell. Those were big shoes to fill. Say what you want. Derek Carr wasn't a top 10 quarterback, but someone who holds all those franchise records and you don't even wait a year to hold on to his number, you're going to give that number out to a rookie. Not even a big name rookie at that. Like I said, he was a 4th-round pick. He was a walk-on at Purdue. And for us to give that number to Aidan O'Connell, that just speaks volumes just how much of an asshole, how much of a jerk, and how much, no one really liked Josh McDaniels. That speaks volumes of the character he had. Nevertheless, we end up firing Josh McDaniels and we got a savior in Antonio Pierce. I believe he's going to be a hell of a coach this year and for years to come. And for Aidan O'Connell, the first thing he did this offseason was change his number to number 12, from 4 to 12. Now, he did say Tom Brady was his favorite quarterback. That was who he modeled his game after. He didn't say that was the reason why he changed it from 4 to 12, but he did mention that he was number 12 in baseball when he played Little League. So, the signs are there that he did, look up to Tom Brady. Did he change his number from 4 to 12? Is he the next Tom Brady? I don't think so. But, he just wants a fresh start. He doesn't want to be tied to Derek Carr. But if you guys remember, the last great quarterback to rock the number 12 was Ken Stabler, was Rich Gannon. So, he's got some big shoes to fill. But nevertheless, I think this is a clean slate for Aidan O'Connell. Out with number 4, in with number 12. I think 12 looks better on him. He is a pocket quarterback, just like Tom Brady. So I expect him to be a hell of a lot better this year in year 2. But like I said, he is a very humble guy. If you look at the podcast that he sat down with Maxx Crosby, he was humble across the board. He had nothing but great things to say about Derek Carr. They have met each other. They have sat with each other. They were even at an Aces game here in Las Vegas. And they have nothing but respect towards each other. We face Derek Carr week 17 in New Orleans. That's going to be a hell of a game. And, I hope Aidan O'Connell is named the starter this year. That would be a beautiful matchup to see. That would be one of the matchups I am looking the most to seeing. Us traveling to New Orleans to play against Derek. If Derek Carr were to lose to the Raiders week 17, he will be the first quarterback in NFL history to lose to all 32 teams. So, I'm not a Derek Carr hater. I'm also not a Derek Carr lover, but I would love for the Raiders to give him that stat. Let's go ahead and beat him week 17 so Derek could be the first quarterback in NFL history to lose to all 32 teams. So like I said, Raider Nation, for Josh McDaniels and for the Raiders to give Aidan O'Connell number 4. He wasn't a number 1 overall pick. He wasn't a Caleb Williams. He wasn't a Jaden Daniels. He was a 4th-round pick, a name that no one really had their eye out for. And for us to give him that number, it wasn't like he was a starter come week 1. He had to work his way to be the starter. The only reason why he was named the starter was because Jimmy was doing so terrible last year that is, and Josh McDaniels got fired. Antonio Pierce came in. He wanted something new. He wanted a fresh start, and he named Aidan O'Connell the starter. And like I said, he didn't pick that number. He was given that number. He even said in Maxx Crosby's podcast that initially he picked number 9. Now, if you guys remember, Drew Brees wore number 9 at Purdue. Was that a notch, or was that like giving praise to Drew Brees as the last quarterback to come out of Purdue, and he was, following in his footsteps? I would like to believe so. But Tyree Wilson, our 1st-round pick, came out. He wanted number 9, so Aidan O'Connell gave up that number, and the coaching staff gave him number 4. So like I said, that was just a downright dirty move by Josh McDaniels to give Aidan O'Connell number 4. And that just speaks volumes of a POS of a person Josh McDaniel is. And I'm happy he has not found a job in the NFL. He was supposed to be a big sought out after offensive coordinator this offseason, and no one called his cell phone. His phone wasn't ringing. So let me know in the comments how you guys feel. Do you believe that the Raiders did Derek Carr dirty by giving Aidan O'Connell number 4 last year? And how do you feel about Aidan O'Connell switching from 4 to 12? And if you haven't liked this video, please like this video. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And until next time, Raider Nation, peace.